Hello, hear me out. I am just noticing that it's getting to be time for the third anniversary of the death of Ivana Trump. And she was just 73 years old when she had that terrible accident on her stairs in her apartment. And so, I mean, as a Gen Xer, I remember her. She was married to Trump during the 70s and 80s, and they did get sort of a high-profile divorce in 1990, and I believe she signed a non-disclosure agreement in 1992. So that would have been about, coming up on 30 years of the non-disclosure agreement because she died in 2022. We had lifestyles of the rich and famous going on back in the day where it was starting to be publicized that people with a lot of money, lived a certain lifestyle with golden toilets and so forth. But Ivana, she could dress to the nines, and I remember thinking, one thing that's kind of funny is I remember thinking about her, wow, she's been married to that guy for a long time. How can she stand it? I actually thought that to myself at one point because, people with an inability to feel empathy also have an inability to love. But then again, we know what happened to their marriage and how he was discovered to be having an affair with Marla Maples. It was really quite scandalous, and it hurt Ivana a lot. Some of the odd things about it, other than just, the tragic way that she died, and the medical examiner saying that she sustained blunt impact injuries to the torso. And so, that was very unfortunate. Some of the things surrounding her death were also kind of unfortunate, like the idea that she should be buried on the first fairway of the golf course in Bedminster in order to obtain tax breaks for having a cemetery on the golf course. So that was a little weird. Some people have gone to see the grave marker on the first fairway or wherever it is at Bedminster, and they've said that it's covered in weeds and it's not kept up at all. And that's strange because I don't think that's what Ivana would have wanted. I think for sure, given her extroversion and that sort of thing, she would have wanted people to be able to come and visit her gravesite, perhaps. Another thing that was kind of odd was that just a couple of days later, Donald Trump, Don Jr., and Ivanka were scheduled to be deposed. They were going to have depositions. So obviously that had to be postponed because of bereavement. So I also feel bad for Ivanka because I do think she was very close to her mother. And one thing I've noticed is that Ivanka is really silent since all this went down. Have you noticed that? We did hear from Ivanka on Mother's Day when she put out a lovely tribute to her mom and how much she missed her mom. And that was a huge loss for her. And so some have suggested maybe that non-disclosure agreement was about to expire because it was 30 years old. Others suggest that there were things that Ivana knew about Trump and visits to Russia. Ivana knew 5 languages. So when she and Donald visited Russia, she was the one who translated. She knew a lot. A lot. But she had a non-disclosure agreement, so she really couldn't say very much, including that he SA'd her and attacked her and ripped her hair out. So that was part of the non-disclosure agreement, that she kind of had to take that back a little bit. And so upon the 3rd anniversary of this terrible accident, I just thought we'd bring this back up and talk about it. What are your thoughts?